Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. We are going to do a quick bronzing tutorial, okay? So bronzing, I mean, the correct way to bronze is whatever way makes you feel pretty, okay? But this is the way that I find works for me, and it looks the most natural, and it also, when you put bronzer on, you want to sculpt your face too. See, my face right now looks pale and flat, okay? We're going to add some dimension to that. So I put my concealer on, and I put my translucent powder in the center of my face, okay? So now I'm going to take my sponge. Missed it. I'm going to use a colored setting powder. So I'm going to use my pink, okay? Because for me, I know that bronzer has to have a little bit of pink in it. Otherwise, it doesn't look natural on me. So I'm going to bronze the set the outer perimeter of my face with the pink setting powder. Okay. Like so. So we're going to do the forehead like that. See the outer perimeter. And then we're going to do the sides of the face. Like so. Okay, down the nose a little bit. Do the other side. Okay, down the nose a little bit. Perfect. Okay, now we're going to add our bronzer. So I like to use two shades of bronzer. I like to use one that shimmers, and I like to use one that's a little bit more matte. Okay. Now my favorite tip for applying bronzer, and I would say probably one of the most useful tips you might find with bronzer, is to apply it with a sponge as opposed to a brush. Now when you use a brush, what ends up happening is you just get powder deposited on the skin, so you see it, and it's very visible, and it makes the skin look powdery and chalky and cakey. So what I like to do is take a sponge, okay, and instead of dusting it all over our face, we're going to push it into the skin so that it looks like skin, okay? So we're going to take this Fenty Beauty Shady Biz, okay? This one's quite similar to my skin tone, it's just a little bit deeper. I mean, ideally bronzer is not supposed to change your skin tone completely, it's just supposed to add warmth and glow to the face and sculpt a little bit, right? Or correct like a foundation that's too light. Let's see, see how I'm doing it like that? Just kind of take it and then work it down, and then we're going to avoid the area that we highlighted because we still want that to pop out and highlight, right? So we're going to take this bronzer and put it all over. Okay. I don't know if you guys can see that on camera. Down the center of the nose, and we're going to do the cheeks. Okay. And remember, we're always pushing and patting. That way you get a more natural finish. If you're using a loose bronzer, I would recommend spraying your sponge with setting spray first. If you do that with the pressed powder, it'll cake up in the compact, so don't do it with the pressed. But for a loose bronzing powder, absolutely mist your sponge first. And that's going to give you a dewier finish. See? I don't know if you guys can see this on camera, but it looks more like skin and less like makeup than it would if I just dusted it all over with a brush. Okay? Put a little bit in the temple area. Okay, perfect. I'm going to take a shimmer bronzer now. I know it seems like I'm using a lot of products, but this is just how I like it, right? So now I'm taking the Fenty Beauty Loose Change, number 4. So this one bronzes and adds glow to my skin. So I'm taking a little bit of that and putting it around here. Down the center of the nose. Okay. And then the last and one of the most important steps is that we use a matte bronzer, okay? And this is what's going to really sculpt and contour the face. Okay, so I am taking this Guerlain shade, and it's a terracotta matte in medium. Okay, so it's quite deep. The terracotta bronzers from Guerlain are probably the all-time best, like, they're the all-time best bronzers, like, hands down. A close second would be Fenty, and after that I would say, I don't know, it's hard to say. Everybody makes kind of decent bronzers nowadays, but it's very important that you find a bronzer in your correct undertone. So now I'm going to take this smaller precision brush, and I'm going to do this matte bronzer in the areas that I want to contour. So I'm doing the outer perimeter of the forehead, the very outer perimeter of the forehead. Okay, like along the hairline. Okay, and then I'm going to do the cheeks, and I'm going to do it in a motion where it actually contours the cheeks. So like this, up, down, like that. Okay. A little bit on the nose, down like this. Okay, down the nose. Let me see if we can see this on camera. See that? I mean, I don't know why my face is still looking so pale on camera. It doesn't look like that at all in person, but you get the hint of where I'm putting the bronzer, right? Okay. And then you're just going to kind of blend it all with the sponge. Just pat. That's all you're going to do. Okay, and then I like to top it off with a little bit of pink after. So I will use a blush. I'm going to use that neon pink I was talking about earlier, the Too Faced. Okay, because of course, for me, like bronzer should be in your right undertone. So most bronzers are usually going to be orangey, or they're going to be like just a very dull brown color. I like to do something like for the bronzer to look really natural and make you look like you just stepped out of the sun. It should be in your correct undertone. And so for a lot of people, that might have a little bit of pink. If you have a more olive undertone, then you could go with like just a dull brown. But if you have any pink in your skin tone, you're going to want to add some pink into your bronzer to make it look natural. Okay, and so my skin tone is like the exact shape where pink turns into brown, so I have to add the pink. So I'm doing a little bit of this. Okay, forehead, cheeks. Okay, and now we're going to push it in again with our sponge, just to melt it all, make it look natural. We want it to look like skin and not makeup. We were just at the beach all day, wearing SPF, of course, but perfect. And now we're going to fill in our brows. I'm going to grab my brow stuff, wherever it is here. My big old makeup bag. Okay. So, because I'm doing a bronze look, I'm going to go really light and airy on the brows. Actually, that's a lie. I'm going to make them pretty heavy, because that's how I've been wearing them lately, but here we go. I'm doing them fluffy at least, right? Fluffy is good. Okay. And ideally, when you're wearing a lot of bronzer, you want to look like you've just actually spent the day at the beach. So, I mean, if you're spending the day at the beach, you're not going to have super drawn on makeup, right? Like lots of eyeshadow and lipstick and everything like that with a heavily bronzed face tends to look overdone. It can look very like makeup-y and costumey. So I find the best when you're doing a super bronze look is just to go natural. Easy peasy. Like you literally just spent the day at the beach. And I love eyeshadows, I love lipsticks, I love all that bright fun stuff. But for this look, I would say go more natural. Okay, light wash over the lashes. Perfect. I'm gonna lift up the camera and I'm gonna step back. Maybe it's the bathroom light that's drowning out the makeup and making it look really pale. Yeah, now you can see. See that? Where the bronzing is? Perfect. Thank you guys for joining me and have a good night.